The role of the Senate under Augustus. Cooperation or subjugation. When Augustus, formerly Octavian, came to power in the wake of civil war and political collapse, he inherited a Rome that still clung to the memory of its republican institutions, none more sacred than the Senate. For centuries, the Roman Senate had been the core of decision-making, debate, and shared governance. But under Augustus, its role began to shift. Was the Senate still a co-ruler of Rome, or had it become little more than a rubber stamp for the emperor's will? Let's examine the delicate balance Augustus struck between cooperation and control, and how he preserved the Senate's appearance of authority while subtly undermining its power. The illusion of restoration. 27 BCE. In 27 BCE, Augustus executed one of the most brilliant political maneuvers in history. He restored the Republic by offering to relinquish his extraordinary powers back to the Senate. It was a carefully staged gesture, one that the Senate quickly rejected. In return, they granted him the title, Augustus, the Revered One, control over major provinces and their armies, imperium mea, and a permanent role as Princeps, or first citizen. This exchange marked the beginning of the Principate, a system where Augustus retained all real power, but cloaked it in the trappings of republican tradition. The Senate's role under Augustus, functions retained to maintain stability and legitimacy. Augustus allowed the Senate to continue many of its traditional functions, at least in form. What the Senate still did, debated and passed laws, though increasingly guided by Augustus's suggestions. Controlled certain senatorial provinces, where governors were selected by the Senate. Managed the state treasury aerarium, though Augustus had separate imperial finances. Oversaw some judicial and religious functions. Senators could still speak, argue, and vote, but the outcomes were often predetermined, and dissent was carefully managed or discouraged. Behind the curtain, real power consolidated, though the Senate was not formally abolished. Augustus neutralized it through several key moves. 1. Senate membership controlled. Augustus purged the Senate, reducing its size from 900 to around 600 members. Only those loyal to him remained. He also required property qualifications and moral standards, ensuring that senators were wealthy, compliant, and aligned with his vision. 2. Magistracies weakened. Traditional republican magistracies, consuls, praetors, tribunes continued to exist, but their power was hollowed out. Augustus held tribunician and consular powers himself, overshadowing all office holders. 3. Policy set by the emperor. Augustus set the agenda. Laws were proposed by the Senate, but in reality, they followed imperial direction. Dissent was rare, and public opposition could be dangerous even if technically legal. 4. Control of the provinces. The most critical provinces, those with legions, for example, Egypt, Syria, Gaul, were under imperial control. The Senate's provinces were generally peaceful and of lesser strategic importance, a Senate with status, but no substance. To be fair, Augustus respected the institution. He needed it to give his regime an air of legitimacy. Many senators were honored, consulted, and given positions of prestige. Augustus even reformed the Senate's meeting procedures, increasing its efficiency and dignity. But the deeper truth was this: the Senate under Augustus remained respected, but no longer essential. It became a symbol of Roman continuity, ceremonial chamber whose authority was carefully preserved in appearance, even as it lost most of its independent power. Conclusion: subtle subjugation under a republican mask. So, was the Senate a partner or a puppet under Augustus? The answer is both. Augustus didn't destroy the Senate, he co-opted it, offering collaboration while ensuring domination. Senators kept their titles, privileges, and public roles, but only so long as they supported the emperor's vision. True power lay with Augustus, and the Senate functioned primarily to endorse his policies, not to challenge or shape them. In the end, Augustus preserved the shell of republican governance while quietly establishing imperial autocracy, a system where cooperation was the appearance and subjugation was the reality.